He's a big name in like late '90s, early 2000s movies.
When movies were good, the 90s.
Honestly, dude. Honestly.
I hope we hit another like renaissance of movies like one day. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not
think
gonna
I
happen.
don't think it's gonna happen. It's because you want to know why we're never gonna hit a renaissance of good movies anymore. The market is overly saturated with superhero movies. That's why it's never gonna happen again.
And the thing is, that's what audiences want. So like, I don't blame Hollywood for releasing 10 superhero movies a year because that's what sells. And at the end of the day, Hollywood's a business and they have to make money.
Like
So
imagine if superhero movies were out of the equation, and then we just got a movie like Power of the Dog. People would die for that movie. But now, since because we have our modern worldview, and then we watched Power of the Dog, we're like, this movie's kind of mid. Like,
well, that like I saw a take on TikTok that really pissed me off because like people were saying that like Marvel and Disney should make make MCU movies about not superhero characters. Like, how about they make a movie about a religious person coming to terms with the fact that Norse mythology and gods are real, and that his religion isn't what he thought it was. Or like let's make a movie about a family who like came back after the snap and like half like their children are 5 years older. I'm like, guys, you're describing other movies. You want Marvel to make movies that you're not watching right now.
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like those are good concepts. They could work if they were done well, but that's like for a comic book or for a novel. Those were good as novels these days. Like if V for Vendetta came out today, nobody would watch it. It would just be viewed as a like people first of all people would cancel it right away.
Yeah, nobody would watch it, or everyone would be like, "Oh, this is like Batman Light."
Yeah. It's too overly saturated with superhero movies that are exactly the same nowadays, and that's why we're never gonna have a renaissance of film anymore. It's same thing with music. We're never gonna have a renaissance of music anymore because everything's rap now.
It's a shame because like people are so close, right, to like having a point, or like. But the problem is they're asking for something that they have and they're just not watching. Like if you want like character driven movies, like you want character studies, they exist. So they're out there. You're just not watching them because you're going to watch Endgame again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's a reason why right now what is considered to be the greatest film of all time is a fucking over overly stupid multiverse movie. You think that would fly in the 90s? No.
Oh, it's too weird.
Nobody would watch that. They'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" I'd rather watch something serious.
And the thing is, I don't see people like I don't think everything everywhere all at once is gonna do too well unless it gets nominated for like best picture or something. People aren't gonna like general audiences aren't gonna watch it.
Yeah, in our episode of Everything Everywhere All at Once, go ahead and listen to it. It was the last episode. We make a lot of points on how this movie is one of the best produced movies we've ever seen, and it should be nominated for a lot of categories, and it probably will. And that's the only recognition that movie's going to get. Did you know about Coda before the Oscars happened? No. Would you have known about it if the market wasn't overly saturated with all the movies that are exactly the same? Probably. You would probably know about Coda, and people would probably be like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely gonna get an Oscar nomination." Because nowadays, how many times have you watched a movie and then been like, "Oh, this might get an Oscar"? You never do that anymore, right? Like it doesn't happen anymore.
An alternative question is how many times have you gone to the theater for something that wasn't a pop culture movie?
Yeah, like when me and Pat went to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, the theater was completely filled with people who genuinely adore film, the people who love movies, and like I was hearing conversations around us, like these are all people that were like that knew about this movie and came to watch it. Like we made this point in the episode, but like who if Coda just came out, right? And Coda didn't get a theatrical release over here where we live. But if it did, nobody would be like, "Let's go watch Coda tonight." You know? You would have to plan it out. Like, "Oh, there's this great movie I heard of called Coda. Let's go watch it."
Yeah, and that's not to say I don't like superhero movies, because I love them. I watch most of them. Doctor Strange is coming out in like a couple days at the time of recording.
Yeah, we're all going to watch it.
We're going to watch it together. We're all excited to see it, and we're going to be talking about it. That's like the next episode, I think. Spoilers.
That is actually the next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not to say we don't like superhero movies, but I think the abundance of superhero movies or just pop culture action movies have like kind of just like taken us far off the path of this film renaissance we could have. Because people are on the right track. They want movies. Like they want to see the lives of like the people who survived the snap or the people who came back to find that their family moved on without them, right? Like people have this idea in their head that they want to see these movies. But the problem is they're looking at Disney to do it when instead they're like they have to think that these movies already exist. You're just not watching them.
Yeah.
And because you're not watching them, they're not being made. They're like more of them aren't being made.
That's why it's so important to like watch movies you've never heard of, watch movies that have bad reviews. Watch anything that piques your interest, cuz you never know. It might be the next V for Vendetta.
We found a way to wrap that back around because that was a bit of a tangent. We brought right back to V for Vendetta. Yeah.
That might be the best tangent we've ever had.
Well, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I'd love to have like a maybe we could do that like on an episode one day. It's just like just chatting, because it's just interesting topic.
These days, with the technology we have, with the cameras and the talent that we have today, with these amazing actors and actresses and these amazing directors and producers and cinematographers and editors that we have these days, we have the potential to make a new renaissance, to restart the way we look at film. But Hollywood is too scared to do it. And I think they know they can do it. And there are some directors that push forward to try and do that, like Christopher Nolan pushes forward to try and hit that standard.
I don't think it's Hollywood that's scared because like you said, there's directors that would love to just like take that next big step in film, like Tarantino or Nolan or Wright or whoever, Spielberg. But the problem is money, right? Like Hollywood is thrives on their investors, and what are investors gonna put their money into? An experimental like personal story or Iron Man 4, right? Like what's gonna at the end of the day, what's gonna bring them more money? And maybe Iron Man 4 is great, right? But like it comes at the cost of these smaller movies with bigger ideas not getting recognition they might deserve because 10 million people want to go see Iron Man 7.
And then like when like Iron Man 10 comes out, right? And like people watch it, what's their reaction immediately after? When's the next one?
Yeah.
Like that's not how you should look at film.
As much as I love superhero movies, I don't think about them the same way I think about something like everything everywhere all at once, right? There are like a few examples. Like I still have like Spider-Man No Way Home brain rot. That's because I'm a Spider-Man fanboy. But I'm super excited for Doctor Strange because of Sam Raimi as a director. But I'm not going to be thinking about what happened in Doctor Strange in a month. I'll be thinking about what Sam Raimi did. But like as far as like the story and the characters, I'm not going to be thinking about that anymore in a month. We watched Black Widow a year ago.
I don't remember it.
I could not tell you what happened in that movie.
I can't tell you anything that happened to them except for the bad CG.
Yeah, I think about stuff like Shang-Chi because Shang-Chi like it's still a superhero movie, but it pushed the envelope. You know, like the fight choreography in Shang-Chi is the best out of any Marvel movie, bar none. And that's what I'm gonna think about when I think about Shang-Chi. But like, I'm not gonna think about something like Black Widow or what came out after Shang-Chi. There was a movie, wasn't there? But between that and
There was a
Spider-Man?
movie after Shang-Chi. It was
I is that not the point?
No Way
Though?
Home.
Is it No Way Home? I thought there was one between them.
No Way Home's at oh, Eternals.
Eternals. Oh, I don't even remember watching that movie. I know I did because I logged it, but I don't remember watching it. I think like I agree that I think more Marvel stuff needs to push the envelope. But I think the things people want Marvel to do is already out there. They're not looking at it. And maybe we should end that tangent here because we can go on and this is not an episode about that.
Yeah.
This is about V for Vendetta.
Yeah, I just want to make one last point because, like, we're talking about this and all that. Why do you think people are still talking about movies like V for Vendetta, 12 Angry
Exactly.
Men? Do you think people are in like 20 years are going to be talking about the MCU as extensively as we're talking about the great movies of the past? I don't think so. Avengers Endgame is not going to be talked about because it was such an epic finale to the MCU. People are talking about it because they're gonna be like, oh my god, sitting there in the theater watching that happen with all my friends was insane.
Yeah, and like that's part of the experience too. Like No Way Home was good, but I think No Way Home was made better because I watched it in the theaters with my friends and the whole audience was getting into it. And same goes for Endgame. I don't even like Endgame, but because I got to see it in theaters and I got that experience, I enjoyed it more. But that's not me enjoying Endgame as a film. That's me enjoying Endgame as an experience I got to experience with other people, which is fine. That's what movies are about, right? Movies are like they are what you make of them to an extent. But I kind of miss movies coming out that you could talk about as an art piece.
Yeah.
The MCU is not. You can't dissect the MCU the same way you dissect again a painting, right?
Yeah, and that's why when the Batman came out, me and Pat were fucking drooling at that movie after watching it.
It's shot so well.
It's shot like a film. The Batman is a film. That is the art piece we have been looking for in these superhero movies.
Like say what you will about the Batman, like a lot of people think it's too slow, or like they're tired of Bruce Wayne whispering the whole movie. Like whatever, that's fine. You're allowed to feel that way. But I think the way Batman is shot and edited needs to be like the gold standard for superhero movies going forward.
Because I think that the best part about the Batman is that if you take away the superhero stuff and all the things that like make it pop culture and cliche, behind all of that is a character study of Bruce Wayne, and that's what we need. But
Yeah,
okay,
that's
we'll stop there
we
because
we got on for a while. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
yeah.
A TLDR, when Scorsese said that movie heroes are roller coaster rides, maybe he had a point.
Yeah. All that's to say that V for Vendetta really did that for the early 2000s, and there probably won't ever be another movie like this.
Probably not. I mean, like Watchmen tried.
Watchmen tried.